balancing truth, principles, and perspective. This is the Equalizer Podcast. Here we are back again, this time to talk about some ramped up rhetoric. Liberal firebrand. I always get those confused. Jen Psaki joined a couple of blonde bimbo cacklers on the I've Had It podcast. It's pretty clear what they haven't had in a while is a good orgasm. And went full libtard, accusing Vice President J.D. Vance of scaring his wife, Usha.
I think the little Manchurian candidate, J.D. Vance, wants to be president more than anything else.
Yeah.
I always wonder what's going on in the mind of his wife. Like, Are you okay? Please blink 4 times.
Yes.
We'll come over here. We'll save you. And that he's willing to do anything to get there. And that your whole iteration you just outlined, I mean, he's scarier in certain ways.
He's smarter.
In some ways. And he's young.
She had another low in the former Obama press secretary's career. Not surprising. Circle back, Psaki. Been saying wildly stupid things for over a decade now as she has to appeal to the Rachel Maddow audience over at MSNBC, MS Now, MSDNC, whatever they're calling themselves at that dumpster fire these days. Of course, the kind of people that Psaki talks to on her shows were out this past weekend emptying nursing homes to get the blue hair some exercise, marching against kings. I guess those were a thing when these old heads last surfaced. And the people had some things to say.
With a shirt that says for Charlie.
Because I advocate for free speech. And
okay, do you advocate for free speech? Wear a shirt that says free speech. Wear a shirt that says promote free debate. Free press.
Well, you get triggered because it has Charlie on there, right?
Because he was a racist. Because he was a misogynist. And that means that you are too. Because you support him. Get out. Get out of here.
He hated people.
Yeah, just calm it down.
That wasn't white, that wasn't male, that wasn't straight.
We need to get ourselves together, and we might even need to be a little bit meaner, because the Republicans don't mind being mean.
And by mean, what do you mean? Do you mean protesting? Do you mean...
Maybe we have to, stop being so nice.
Because you seem like a pretty nice lady.
I'm a pretty nice lady, but I can be pretty mean, too.
Okay, and I have to ask this because people on the other side are going to say that they feel like the Democrat Party has been mean. Recently, with Charlie Kirk being assassinated,
He's a piece of garbage. Of course we were mean. I am so tired of people saying, oh, but, it's a terrible thing. No, Hitler is dead. I'm glad Hitler's dead. Evil people have no place in my world. He was a hateful human being. It was disgusting, the things that he said and did. I don't have time for that. I'm sorry. I have to point my energy in other directions.
There's no other way I'd want to celebrate my birthday than with my parents and my best friend fighting for our country.
So for a birthday present, what do you hope happens? You wake up tomorrow morning.
I hope that I see the obituary that we're all waiting for tomorrow. That's what I hope for.
Yeah. You wishing that President Trump is dead?
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Lovely people. Hate to say it, these people, they could be your neighbors, your kids' teachers, people you've known for years, people that sit beside you at your kids' sporting events, and they want you dead because you don't agree with them. What in the world have we become as people? I don't wish Circleback Psaki dead. I wish she wasn't brain dead stupid and morally bankrupt, but I want to see her live and come to the light. Speaking of dying, Stacey Patton, who you've never heard of because she's a professor of journalism at HBCUs. She's black and she's tired of white liberals asking her how they can help her get the justice she keeps asking for. Imagine people wanting to help her because of the color of her skin. How rude. So her idea was to write a blog post encouraging white liberals to be like John Brown. Quick history of Mr. Brown, white abolitionist in the 1850s who gathered a group of like-minded violent thugs and murdered 5 people in the Potawatomi massacre who were pro-slavery. Then he raided a federal armory at Harper's Ferry while trying to start a slave liberation. But only a handful of the slaves actually joined him because even the people who had been in chains and so harshly treated knew that this dude was a psychopath. Robert E. Lee, yes, that one, but before he chose his state over his country, led a group of Marines that handled Brown and his rabble, captured him, and then he was tried for treason and murder, convicted and hanged. Them's the breaks, pal. Now, an awful lot of people think old Johnny was a freedom fighter and someone to emulate. We know Madam Patton does. Barabbas was a celebrated figure for the Jews during the Roman occupation. He went around leading his band of thugs offing Roman soldiers. In fact, the Jews were given the choice by Pontius Pilate to free Jesus, the Messiah to us Christians, but just another teacher to the Jews, or free Barabbas. They chose Barabbas. But Barabbas didn't bring freedom to humanity. Jesus did. Likewise, John Brown didn't bring freedom to Southern slaves. Abraham Lincoln did. Ask yourself, what am I willing to burn so somebody else can breathe? This is the kind of violent, racist, vile speech that Stacey Patton wrote in her Substack post. I have a message for you, Stacey, and for anyone who thinks like you. We're sick of hearing you whine and complain. We're sick of you throwing temper tantrums every time a criminal gets arrested. We're sick of you ignoring the young black men shooting young black men in our cities while you cry and scream about a racism that no longer exists en masse. Are there racists? Yes, you are a perfect example of them. You hate people because they're white. You are the problem with the world. Just like the people we heard earlier in that No Kings rally, and just like Circleback Saki. You wallow in a pit of racism you've never even felt. You think you have. You've manifested and manufactured it, but the truth is, institutional racism hasn't existed for over 40 years in this country. You're bitching and moaning because you refuse to take accountability and responsibility for your own life. Because it's easier and more profitable for you to blame Whitey for all of your problems. You're a college professor, an author, and a journalist. You made it in your chosen profession. And no, you didn't have to work any harder than white people did. In fact, I would argue the opposite, but I know you're not intellectually honest, so I'll move on. You're just a Marxist using the specter of racism and your own racist hatred to incite people to violence. You are despicable, and if you had any sense of decency, you'd be ashamed of yourself. But you don't, because the ends justify the means. Stacey, you're a brat, a racist, and a coward. And I'm sick of people like you, Cornel West, Al Sharpton, Angela Davis, and the rest of the club of racists hiding behind intellectualism. You're all just sad, weak, pathetic humans convincing people that they can't do things they are more than capable of doing. You all have a right to be stupid and speak your racist, vile hatred, even though I despise it. I'm just done caring what you losers have to say. I'm the Equalizer. Truth just had its moment.